We selected Tiger over the Snow Angel here. I'm sort of interested in what we want to do here. Usually these are all not great, we just take a chicken. But I wonder if we want to take a chicken and pause. The reasoning being that getting a chicken upgrade is actually fairly strong. This spell is really nice to cast, and getting a chicken upgrade is fairly strong. And because we double the treasure power, so it might be worthwhile here. I don't know if that's a reasonable thing to do, but it feels like it might be. We just get a for glory, nothing special. You know, we can always resell these. You know, we basically just cost ourselves, you know, the roll equity. I'm not, yeah, I mean, you know, the better thing we would have bought was Baby Dragon or Casino Roll. We're probably not going to win a fight because it's hard for a board of 2/2s to actually get any value out of this. 2/2s are just likely to trade, if anything, unless they have like a kitty cut purse. And haven't upgraded. I mean, it's sort of a tough needle to thread for 2/2s to win a round. Yeah, see, we'll tie here, which is, you know, fine game-wise, but we just don't get the upgrade, which is what we expected. Huh. So, okay, so I think here we have the opportunity to sell some things. And we'll buy two characters that work well with the Mad Mims, and then we'll take the roll. We can see if we get anything interesting. I'd say here that we could get Minotaur. It does buff everything we have. However, we're not going to want to stick around for the second one. And I think we have a reasonably strong board, although we are playing a Peter Pan who starts at level 3, so it's hard to gauge where their strength would be. But I also don't think we want to we don't care about leverage Minotaur long term. I think we'd rather have the chicken to try to find some nice 3s on the next turn. So we'll go with this board and see how this plays out. Okay, well, we didn't get the attack there. Fortunately, we did take down. Taking down their dragon meant that it doesn't attack our Mad Mims, which allows our cat to trade in twice. So we got a very lucky win because of that. Huh. So here, I don't think it's worth it to buy this Wish Upon a Star here. That's sort of the big question. I think the answer is it's probably not worth it. Unfortunately, Romeo is a prince, not a princess, so this won't flip. I think that means we're just going to roll. Oh, Adventure is strong. What can we do here? Is there anything interesting to buy? Are we just on Adventure? What if we grab Adventure, sell the chicken finally, grab this and this. I think we put that here now. If we wanted to get super greedy, we'd put this in front. Ah, yeah, we're prone to super greed. The hope is that we get this sleigh. It's the most important. Getting the secondary sleigh. Oh, we should put the unicorn up front. That would have been the correct play, I think. So yeah, we're a little bit weaker than we would otherwise be. We're going to lose this round, it looks like. Avella's very strong early, especially with cats. So we get taken down, but we do get us one sleigh buff. Ooh. We have another up. This is very interesting. We're definitely going to grab all these. Now we're going to figure out how to fit them in. Something along these lines. And then we give ourselves the added buff of trying to, you know, do 2 damage to everything in order to maximize our sleigh chances. This is a very strange board, and we're almost certainly not going to get this 3rd sleigh, so let's actually put the kitty cuppers here. We really want to get these 2 sleighs. It takes a good amount of luck for that to happen, but if we can get them, we accelerate levels very quickly, which with Tiger isn't great. I mean, it's great either way, but the benefit is reduced a little bit because we're trying to get the level 3 treasures and the level 2 treasures to triple them, And if you get to level 4, you're less likely to get those, and getting the level 4 treasures have a little bit of a reduced relative value. However, we have 2 pairs now. Oh wow, we took out their entire front row. Okay, so we got one. Oh wow, and they took down... They're gonna win because they have 1 attack. If they hadn't attacked our Shorewood, we would have ended up taking them down. Oh, so that was a very tough loss. We did get the 1 XP, I believe. Nothing exciting here, unfortunately. These are slays, not last threats. Okay, but this triggers slays. And we have a bunch of slays. I wonder how that factors in. Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab it. And then we don't have... I think we could grab this. And then we could figure out how to fit in a board that makes this make sense. It's not clear that we can fit in that said board. Right, because we want this to go in as well. I guess maybe that just makes sense over the adventurer here. And then, what if we sold the shore shot and we just bought a... Put this second. No, we want this to be... Oh no, we really don't want this in actually. So we're gonna go like this. We really want to trigger the adventurers because we want to race to level 6. We're pretty weak here, board-wise. But we did just get 2 triggers. It's not great to lose fights early, obviously. Oh, and we attacked the wrong thing there. But you take much lower damage when they're at low level and they don't have a lot of upgrades, so we're only down to 24, but we're already at level 5. And we're not going to cast this just to see. We're already at level 5, we don't need to sort of cheese CL level 5s. We could take Bear. Bear's very strong here because we can just put it in one of these slots and it will spawn over and over. I think we might do that just to try to stem the bleeding a little bit. Do a little roll. Nothing exciting. There's no way for us to get the Nutcracker here. I don't think we care about this enough, so we'll just go like this. The hope is simply that this will spawn enough things in front of a buff to give us a decent chance in the fight. We just need to trigger 1 slay this fight to get to level 6 next turn, and we'll reach our base fast 6 when some people are, most people are still level 4, looks like everyone's at level 4 except us. So we might hit 6 when they're hitting 5, and that would give us a huge edge, and basically we'll just get rid of our entire comp and transition it very hard at that point. If we had 1 more gold, what we would do is sell a kitty to buy the chicken just to bank some more gold. But as of now, it doesn't matter, so we won't bother with that. So taking down the range character is very good. It looks like we'll still lose this fight. And we'll take a little extra damage, but we did take out a couple things. So we're going to take, what, 9 damage? That's not great. But we hit 6, so now's the time for us to turn the corner, and we see a good boy. Well, we see 2 angries. How hard would it be to get those all in? So it's interesting. Good boy's very strong, obviously. But we can get to 11 here. We can't get to 16, right? We'd have to sell 7 things. Can we sell 7 things? I'm actually considering it. No, we can sell 6 things. We could sell 7. We won't have much of a board left. Is that nuts? It's a little nuts. I'll buy this. I'll by this. So can we sell 5 more things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. This is wacky, obviously, and probably isn't correct, but these all get 6/6, which makes them fairly strong. And I don't know. If we can find a couple more dwarfs, we just have a really nice comp. It might have just been better to buy the good boy and just have a reasonable comp instead of a sort of wildly unreasonable comp, but what are we in the market for reasonable comps here? So we do get knocked down to 7. Unsurprisingly, the board of, 5 characters was not super strong. However, we sort of get paid off because doubly is very good here, and we find that we could find a second bear. We're not going to go with that though. Instead, we're just looking for straight dwarfs. We don't see any. We find the angry. Hopefully it's not too late. So our board got a lot stronger here. Our entire board's going to get buffed. And, pretty large. Everything's going to get, well, these are all going to get +10/+10. We're going to hide these in the back to hope they get some more angry buffs. Or actually, we'll hide this one because we prefer this one get knocked off if something's getting knocked off. And then next turn we'll grab the angry. We're still buffing this, which makes it pretty strong. So next turn we're actually going to reduce the number of dwarfs we have, so we're going to hope to roll and find a replacement pretty quickly. I don't know if this was the right pivot. It might have just been made more sense to grab the good boy and go into a strong good comp, but I don't know, saw an opportunity and I tried to jump at it, and we might get embarrassed here, but I think sometimes you gotta take the chances if you want to get strong enough to win the lobbies. Okay, I mean, it looks like we should be able to take down this board, right? Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, that's the weakest character, and we took them down, and oh, we got a little cost reduction here. So none of these are appealing. We don't have any slay characters. One of our characters dies. I think we just want to skip because we just need to find a number of dwarfs, and we might actually just take a random dwarf here. We could make this into a 6-drop. Oh, Echo was actually fairly strong with dwarfs because she makes all of your. She grows when the dwarfs get the buff from this. She gets quite large, and when the angry triggers, she also gets a little buff. So I'd say our board is not super strong here, but if we can find upgraded abilities or doublies, we start to get into the territory where we're getting stronger. And if we can't, we've made a foolish switch, and we'll deal with that. So we should get, all our dwarfs should get +10/+10, and since there's 5 of them, this will get +50/+50. This will get +20/+20, right? Is that how it works? And yeah, hopefully we'll just find, we need to find another dwarf soon. Yeah, we need to do everything soon because Peter Pants is someone we could survive on because they stay at level 3, although they usually have a lot of upgraded characters. So it looks like we should take this down, just barely. Yeah, it was close though. It's hard to get too excited. Okay, here's a dwarf, so we'll grab it. Here's a better dwarf, so we'll grab that instead. We're not going to bother with trying to upgrade these dwarfs, because we're much more interested in things like these. I think we take this. We can put the Lordy up front. Take the doubly. And do we want to save? So we don't want to put 2 Echo Woods in, I don't think, because ultimately we want to. We need as many dwarfs as possible. However, I'm trying to think, is it better to put get a second Echo Wood to try to pair soon? And the thinking has to be, do we have enough power that we can reasonably get the 3rd Echo Wood before we lose the game? And I don't think we do, unfortunately. We need to buy this, and then we're trying to find more Lordies. Lordies are the most important thing. So I think we're just going to have to roll for those. I hate passing this up, but I think the correct play is to do that. Now, we don't even survive here, obviously, but Mummy is fairly good against us because we get the buffs from the Angry when it dies. Yeah, this got very large because we got some Angry buffs. As you can see, it continues to get large. Which is sort of why upgrading it, is so appealing, but I just don't think that we could, and I don't think we're supposed to buy this. We'll get the free gold from this. Again, we don't want this, so we would have a ton of good boys, although it's not correct to just look back and say, oh, we would have had this and this and this. I know that's exactly what I'm doing, but what I'm saying is you shouldn't do that. Oh, and what we want to do is sell a bench and upgrade our Lordy. This is because this has an ability that doubles in strength, and it buffs everything else we have. The strength gain we get from doubling this is enormous. And if we find future Lordies, they're still good to put in because they just give buffs anyways. This is not only going to buff our Dwarf twice as much, but it's also going to make our Echo Wood even larger. We're not going to stop on the Bossy because we're looking for more doublies and we're looking for more Lordies. So I don't think it's right to stop on the Bossy here. One thought is that if we do pair the doublies, we're missing a Dwarf. So it might be worthwhile. I am going to do that. The other consideration is that there's 2 2-drops here, which means if the Lucky dies, it will give us basically a free gold a lot of the time. And the Lucky did die. We got a nice lucky hit. So getting the free gold or hitting the Bossy is both very good. Now, unfortunately, we're still at 7 health and there's 7 people left still. You would think that some people would start to take some damage. Oh. We could just buff the Echo Wood. How valuable is that? It's pretty valuable against... It's pretty valuable for any board that just relies on stats. I think we will do that. Basically, this is going to make everything quite big, and this now gains twice as many stats from that, and it gains twice as many stats from the Angry. Again, I think this time we're not going to bother here. Although I don't know what's changed, or maybe we should still do that. I mean, if it made sense last time, maybe it makes sense this time. Yeah, I think we will. Again, it seems a little bit... We have 0 treasures, which is interesting. I think did we get a treasure at some point? No, we skipped. Yeah, we got a 5-drop treasure and we skipped. And the other 2 things we've knighthooded. I think we played Pan Shadow and they were very strong. Or that might have been the last game. Yeah, I think last game we lost to Pan Shadow. So we definitely have a board full of giant dwarfs. And it's pretty strong. It's just, we have no room for error at this point. We if we lose, you know, at 7, so if we lose any game and they have something on board, we lose, which is every game you lose. We can tie games and be okay, but okay, so we got lucky and they didn't polymorph our backline. This should be a fairly easy victory because we have a giant Echo Wood. And that means we're actually going to do exactly 9 to them and take them out. And taking people out is nice for us because it means we don't get last place. So we get the extra gold here as well. Okay, this is nice. We can get... Oh, our dwarfs. So we got dwarfs getting +4/+4. And we can actually sell the dragon to grab an angry. And both of these are going to be better than the lucky. So we'll swap that in. Upload got a lot stronger this round. And we're going to have, you know, if we're going to get a 3-drop treasure, the Deepstone Mine is certainly something we don't mind having. This will now get triple bonus, which means that this will grow stronger, although having the 2 doubles, you know, basically this is +2 of the buffs, and before we had 2 characters getting +1. However, we are also able to fit in the Dwarf, so we can sort of consolidate it. Although over 2 slots, again, we're still getting 4. No, there's instead of 2 slots. Sorry, am I misunderstanding this? So it used to be that over 2 slots we used to be getting 4 instances of the buff, and now we're getting 3 + 1. So we're getting 4. So we haven't changed in that way, but we've got an extra angry in. I think we've improved our board, but I'm not really conveying why. I apologize. It's I get confused pretty easily. They have an extremely strong board. However, having a lot of spawners when we have angry is not where you want to be. But as you can see, they spawn very large characters. Our big hope here is to have a very large Echo Wood. Yeah, these are only 45/45s, which is big, but not, you know, 500 Echo Wood big. So we take one person down, we're going to finish top 4, which is really nice for us because we were getting crushed. These don't really do anything for us here. We will upgrade the bossy. That's why it's good to have a backup dwarf. We don't summon anything. I guess we can just buff our characters in the front row. Well, that does so little. Maybe we just take the gold. We can look for combat spells here. Could just buff the AAA. Does that have any value? Obviously it has some. Gives +9/+9. I don't think it has enough. These aren't great dwarfs. Let's see what this offers. Rotten Apple is nice in combat, and we'll just make sure we put our lucky in. So our board stayed roughly the stem strength. We got the poison apple, and yeah, I think that's it really. We didn't really get to do much other than that. We're gonna have a very large board of dwarfs. We'll see what kind of Peter Pants build they end up having. They have a pretty large backline of ranged characters, which could be an issue for us. They actually have a pretty big front line of characters too, unfortunately. Fortunately, that did get to trade with their remaining character. And we are going to go even with them, because big range characters are nuts. Well, they have a very interesting spell comp build there. We'll take this. So we're just looking for... I think we're... looking for Lordies. I was honestly overlooking that because I was looking at some weird spell that we saw. And I think we can sell the lucky here, get the apple, and put in the Lordy. Our board definitely got stronger, but there's no telling if it's going to be enough. I think having the angry here is better than having the bossy. So, we'll see. We basically just put a bunch of stats on board. And, you know, we put an extra. So every dwarf is now getting an extra plus 12 plus 12. Which means this gets plus 36 plus 36. Which means this gets plus 72. In addition to, you know, all the other buffs. So hopefully this will be significant. And I think we'll actually put this in the back. The reasoning being that this gets more of the angry buff, so the longer it stays alive, the better. This also benefits from dying later, but I think this setup is the best. You know, we're very weak to Cupids, we're very weak to Medusas, but we have a big ball, you know, big ball of stats, and it could be enough. The problem we've run into so far is that part of their stat bar was a little bit bigger. Oh, they still had 30 health. Wow, so I think we actually get to fight a clone. I think we'll just take the buff here. If we get a Lordy, it'll be great. Yeah, we paid 4 to basically just buff everything +1/+1. It wasn't super exciting, and maybe it was a bad idea. I think the only thing we care about is Lordies at this point. We could get a... Is it worthwhile to get a level... Yeah, we'll see what the level 2 treasures are, I guess. So none of these are good. So we'll just keep looking. We'll pause here because we're just going to upgrade our Lordy. And hopefully that will be enough. I mean, we did just take down the last round, but everyone's going to keep getting stronger. So, you know, we're taking a big risk, I guess. But it's interesting that we're gonna have a board full of 6 upgraded characters, but only 1 treasure because we've passed on so many, and I think this will be 2 with knighthood. So, I don't know. This is really something. The Ring of Meteors is obviously very good for us here. That's actually interesting. Ring of Meteors is a 2-drop treasure I didn't think about, but it's actually very good here because it would be doubled and it would just buff. It would give everything plus, you know, 4/4 twice, and then +2/2 twice. So you get +12/12, which means obviously this grows very big. So you can see why this person was 4th among us here. We're just gonna buff the Lordy and call it around. We get a lot stronger here, but obviously, you know, they could have scaled quite a bit too. We're gonna have a very big backline. I wonder if at this point it's better to put the Echo Wood up front, because it can absorb some hits. So I believe they were the heavy spellcasting board. And the issue we had was that these weren't big enough to trade into their front line, so they traded queen weight. Yeah, I sort of wonder if we want to do something like this. That might be a bad decision, obviously. All these things might be bad decisions. My thinking, however, is that by doing this, we don't let them get the free trades. I think maybe we want these in front. This, you know, this is unlikely to die on its first hit. It's going to be like a 500/500 something. I keep trying to do the math and I keep embarrassing myself, so I think we're going to freeze past that. You know, we got pretty strong, but oh, they got an angry, which is sort of kind of strange for their build. So the idea is that this can absorb hits while these trade, although we're gonna lose here because they have ranged characters. Oh, we get knocked down to 1 because they're Peter Pants. Oh, wow. That was amazing. I could barely even understand what was going on, but yeah, we got knocked down to 1. We don't have good characters here, so we're gonna keep looking. We're basically looking for spells, and we're looking for woodies. I guess we'll take the Angry, because if we happen to upgrade it, it's very good. And I think we'll just cast this because it's an upgrade. And we can go back to our original setup, I think. I think this is generally better. Yeah, I think this is fine if we happen to get it. We got a buff. The only thing we would have been rolling for is, I guess, more Angries. Or 1 more Angry and then more Lordies. I guess another doubly would be good. We'd probably replace an Angry with a doubly or maybe a bossy. No, definitely an Angry, right? This needs 2 hits to give us the bonus that this would give. It seems if this is surviving 2 hits, I think we're winning the fights anyways. We're against the Potion Master, who I feel like is fairly strong. I think we've gotten stronger since we fought them, but they've obviously, you know, had a couple rounds to gain strength, and we haven't gained too much. I'd say we just upgraded a Lordy, which is significant, but you know. Wow, so they have quite the stat ball here. Yeah, they're gonna beat us, it looks like. Right, yeah, that's 2,000 stats. Oh, they got the round table. Yeah, round table's usually gonna do it. Wow, so a very interesting game, I'd say. We're gonna finish in 3rd. That might be the hottest dwarf pivot I've ever seen or done. But I'm not unhappy with how it turned out, and I'm not unhappy with most of the decisions. And, you know, we got a pretty strong board. It just wasn't quite enough. I mean, there were a couple fights where, you know, it came down to the last character. We might have been able to arrange our board in a smarter way if I had kept a little better track of how strong our board was going to be and then how strong the opponent's breakpoints, you know, how strong their attack was, to try to measure the breakpoints and see which things we wanted up front. Because the problem was we had some things that valued it. We were never going to beat that last person because they ended up with a 2000 Echo Wood. And since we only have stats, we can't beat something that's just bigger stats than our entire board. But I think this was a pretty cool 3rd place.